Well, I didn't cover this story all the way up until now because I was hoping we'd get some substantial developments in it so I could go over a sort of more long, all-encompassing amount of info and not have to speculate or guess about things. I don't really like doing that in my videos. It's not a responsible thing to do as a public figure, personally. But the article goes as the following, and we're talking about Alexei Navalny. There's a lot to talk about here, so I'm hoping this article, while both updating us on the new the new stuff that's come out for those that might have already been following the story, will also catch everybody who hasn't up on the events that are relevant with the context and everything. Russian authorities hand Navalny's body to mother for burial. So this has been requested by his mother for quite some time, so this is a good thing. This is not a happy ending to the story, but definitely a small silver lining to the events of what's happened so far, and a large part of why I decided now would be a good time to cover this. Russian authorities on Saturday handed the body of opposition leader Alexei Navalny to his mother after she struggled for a week to recover it, according to his political team. Once again, an opposition to Putin has died at a young age, under mysterious circumstances, and the state is weird about the body being given back to the family, and once again we're expected to believe it has nothing to do with Putin. Dozens of Russian celebrities, artists, activists, and journalists had recorded video appeals to President Vladimir Putin in recent days to hand over Navalny's body to his family, and more than 98,000 Russians signed a petition organized by legal rights groups OVD Info. Earlier Saturday, Navalny's daughter, Dasha Navalnaya, 23, also joined the campaign, posting on X, formerly Twitter, "Give my papa's body to grandmother." Announcing the breakthrough, Kira Yarmish, Navalny's press secretary, said it was unclear whether authorities would interfere in the funeral arrangements. Navalny's mother, Lyudmila Navalnaya, I'm so sorry, hard things to pronounce, has said that her wish is for him to be flown to Moscow for a public farewell service, as is tradition in Russia, and for his funeral and burial to take place at the Troyekurovsky Cemetery, where many prominent Russians, including opposition figures, have been laid to rest. Navalnaya said earlier that Russia's investigative committee, its main federal investigating authority, had pressed her to agree to a small private funeral with only family members present. Quote, "The funeral is still to come. We don't know if the authorities will prevent it from being held the way the family wants and the way Alexei deserves. We will report information as it becomes available," Yarmish said. She thanked the thousands of Russians who supported Navalnaya's campaign to recover her son's body. Navalny, 47, was Putin's most formidable rival and one of the nation's most prominent political prisoners. He was jailed for his campaign for a free and democratic Russia and died on February 16th in the Polar Wolf prison in the Yamalo-Nenets region, north of the Arctic Circle. North of the Arctic Circle. Ah, yes, a very hospitable place to keep prisoners. I'm sure they weren't using the fact that it's fucking Siberia or whatever to, make sure that the prisoners are under constant, physical ailment, by freezing cold. Navalny's widow, Yulia Navalnaya, had accused Putin of murdering her husband and delaying handing over the body to cover up the cause of death. The death certificate issued later in the week listed his cause of death as natural causes. By Friday, it appeared that Russian officials might not give the body to the family at all, instead threatening to bury it in icy ground in the remote northern prison colony, according to the director of Navalny's anti-corruption foundation, Ivan Zhdanov. Doing so would have denied his family the support and supporters the right to a funeral and farewell ceremony, and would have prevented his gravesite becoming a place where Russians could pay homage to Navalny and his courage to opposing Putin. Sorry, I had to burp so bad. Mind you, all of this happened while Tucker is in Russia glorifying how amazing of a country it is and how great of a job Putin's doing. Like, the Republican Party is legitimately colluding with a massively authoritarian, fascist foreign power. And yeah, I think Russia's fascist. Fuck you if you think not. In order to achieve their goals, which have never been pro-American. Republicans have never been pro-America. Republicans virtue signal that they are everything that they aren't and are against everything that they're for. Every bit of their patriotism and talking about how what they want is what's best for America and they love America is all just a cover for how much they truly hate it. How much what America stands for fundamentally is what they hate. Diversity, melting pot, like an American dream. Republicans don't agree with these things. They're fundamentally anti-America. Of course they're colluding with this literal fascist regime on the other side of the world to try and destroy American democracy and everything the country stands for, all the while saying they're the only ones fighting to save America. They don't play fair. Honesty is part of playing fair. They don't do that. There's no winning in being honest when you're evil, you know? At the outset, she and her lawyers faced a brick wall, with officials barring them from entering the morgue and refusing even to tell them where the body was being held. One prison official initially told her that her son had died of sudden death syndrome. Cool. Yep. Very cool. They don't need to hide it, so obviously they're not even really trying to hide it. They're mostly just pretending to hide it so that they can disrespect Navalny and the family. It's not so much like they need to hide it. They're pretending to hide it badly so that they can add an extra layer of disrespect to Navalny and his family. Days later, with the official cause of death listed as natural causes, investigative committee officials showed her the body late at night. But with no lawyers present, they pressured her intensely to agree to a small private funeral, threatening that his body would be allowed to decompose if she did not accept their conditions. On Thursday, she released a video saying that officials are, quote, blackmailing me, setting conditions on where, when and how Alexei should be buried. This is illegal. Well, no, it's not. The law is determined by Putin. On Friday, she was given a 3-hour ultimatum and told that Navalny would be buried without her permission in the prison colony unless she agreed to a private burial, according to Zandanov. And still, she did not agree. The decision to give Lyudmila Navalnaya, her son's body, marked a rare victory for an individual confronting Russian officialdom. But it also indicated that the extent to which the unseemly public standoff was damaging the Kremlin. Earlier Saturday, Yulia Navalnaya, clad in black, recorded a somber video message attacking Putin's professional religious piety as a sham, blaming him for both the murder of her husband and the refusal to hand over the body for burial. Quote, but murder was not enough for Putin. Now Navalny's body is being held hostage. He mocks his mother and forces her to agree to a secret funeral, she said. They threatened to bury him right in the colony where they killed him. She said officials had, quote, tortured Lyudmila Navalnaya for days with lies and threats. The order to break Navalnaya's mother would have come directly from Putin, not from an investigative committee official in Salikard, the town 33 miles from the prison where he died, she continued. Navalny's body had been held at the Salikard morgue since the night of his death. Yulia Navalnaya said Putin was not exposed as a fraud, or was now exposed as a fraud, sorry. Quote, we already knew that Putin's faith was fake, but now we can see more clearly than ever before, she said. No true Christian could ever do what Putin is doing now with Alexei's body. Damn, attacking him on that, like, Christian nationalism basis that, like, Russia's so big on. Damn. Ooh. This is such a sad story. What a fucking horrific place to live. And to try to, like, be someone who fights for, like, good political change by following the law and all the rules, despite the fact that it's only gonna get you killed. Well, she's next. Almost certainly she's next. She's going to die of sudden death syndrome and natural causes very soon as well, yeah. Almost certainly. The families of those that go against Putin are no more safe than the people who go against Putin themselves. It's what the Republicans want America to be. This is exactly what America will be if the Republicans had their way and nothing could stop them. America will absolutely model itself off of modern-day Russia if the Republicans take full control. If you think it's not possible, look at Russia, a developed nation, much like ours. Internet, TV, schools, all these things that we consider to be like our country, and yet they are living under hyper-authoritarian rule. That can absolutely happen here. Whenever it happens somewhere, they always say it can't happen here before it does. And people love saying it can't happen here. Do not delude yourself into believing that America is somehow magically immune to a political process that has taken place dozens of times through history in regimes just as big and just as powerful, proportional to their times.